Oh, I like XCOM 2. I like it a lot. It's a candidate for my favourite game of all time because with most games I either tire of it before I've beaten it, or I complete it and then move on. But XCOM 2 I've finished lots of times, and I've never bored of it. It's just, after about 4 campaigns back to back, I despair at the amount of time I've wasted by playing this title and fear it may consume the rest of my life, so then I have to put it on hold for a couple of years before returning to it again. And every time I return to it after a while of being away, it turns out I love it just as much. It is a timeless game that, just like with many of my favourite titles, I tried my best not to like. Turn-based strategy isn't immediately exciting sounding, is it? I've always seen myself as more of a real-time, shooty, aimy kind of guy. The appeal of a turn-based game like XCOM 2 comes in familiarity, in the beautiful balancing, in weighing up long versus short-term rewards, and the constant meaningful decisions that I have to make. Yes, base XCOM 2 is comfort gaming for me. I can't stand seeing my soldiers die to an unfair turn. I save scum on the regular, but I have also completed it on Iron Man. But having now done that just to prove that I could, I've now returned to save scumming on the regular. Some of the finest puzzle aspects of this game are when I'm trying to get my people to the evac zone with 2 turns left, 3 of my squad mates on low health, where any wrong step, and even some of the right ones, will still result in failure. Those are the moments burned into my memory. Those are the bits that stick with me, that haunt my dreams, and give me PTSD when I look back at the hours I spent trying out every combination to see if there's just one possibility that could work out flawlessly. What I enjoy doing now is to play it on not quite the hardest, but the second hardest difficulty. The hardest difficulty setting is there should I ever feel the need for a greater challenge, but I haven't needed it yet. For the playthroughs I've already had, I'm happy just to repeat. It feels like enough. Slay the Spire is another game like that. It feels like it's almost like a victim of its own success, because I don't need more. Why should I bother buying sequels or expansions when I still enjoy playing the base game so much? Actually, I tell a lie. I have played the sort of sequel, which was rubbish, and also the expansion, War of the Chosen, which I know that many fans of the series will see as being the definitive edition of the game that everybody should play, so maybe you should try that. I prefer the base title. I'm happy, leave me be. I still get a thrill from forming the perfect squad of pistol-slinging snipers or armour-shredding grenadiers, or simply grinding away at the Psy soldiers, who are far and away the most powerful class in the base game. Embarking on a new campaign, I set about unlocking their best weapons and armour as soon as possible, in expanding my squad size and in battle hardening and readying my A and B teams for the campaign's later beats. It's a game where every music track and voice line feels like home, and where, despite the randomly generated missions, which can often detract from my enjoyment, in this game I anticipate every new engagement with nervousness and excitement. Just like with Slay the Spire, XCOM 2 is a game that I love so much I haven't even considered reviewing it until now because I just get a thrill from playing it. Indeed, I haven't actually planned this review at all. So far I've just gushed about it and it practically writes itself. You know when you finally bother to play a board game and it sucks you in and you wonder how video games, with all their tech and automation, somehow fail to grasp the excitement and decision making that a seemingly simple board game can muster? I'm looking at you, Total War series. All those games are so immediately appealing to jump into, and yet are forever disappointing me, and get progressively less fun and less meaningful the more I play them. XCOM 2 is the opposite, because it nails that important feeling decision making. It's a game of 2 halves. One is in the mothership, where you plan your upgrades, train your squad, and unlock new stuff. And the other half is the battles, which tend to be about 15 to 20 minutes long. Some of these are forced on you, others you have a bit more choice about. You have the early game, where the difficulty is random, but your choice is full of potential. There are so many directions you can take your squad. Yet as complicated and as sprawling as this might be, every decision is condensed down to a bite-sized A or B option, which always seems quite easy to pick at the time. The mid-game is where it gets hardest for me, as I'm praying my best squad members can heal before the next engagement, and that I can unlock the next crucial tech and afford to kick my team out with it before I encounter a tough as balls floaty orb or a terrifying mech walker. And eventually, if I survive for long enough, the campaign reaches the late stage, where I can start maxing out my soldiers, weapons and armour, and then it just gets progressively easier, until that final massive battle, which always has a bit near the end where I'm worried I'm going to lose like all my favourite characters. And then I realise it doesn't really matter because the game's about to end anyway. Honestly, it's staggering how dangerous and harsh this game feels. Yet it somehow doesn't normally get too much. There's always somehow a chance of putting through all but the most chaotic of situations. as though there's an invisible director pulling the strings. Like I said, it's hard to get excited about a turn-based game, because it isn't until you've played through it once that you're familiar enough with the mechanics and can start better planning your strategy for the next playthrough. It's part of the reason why I didn't bother reviewing the game until now. Instead, I just made my Nigel Books video, almost exactly 5 years ago now. In that video, I tried to convey the feelings I had towards just one of my many squad members from just one of my many playthroughs. I suggest you check that video out because I think it summarises the appeal of this game more than any review of it could. Nigel Books, the hero from the accounting world, has become a recurring character in subsequent runs, yet the amount he misses and messes up, he's not the same Nigel Books as he was in my first playthrough with him. It really makes me feel like you occasionally get a hero character with hidden stat perks. I guess that's part of the reason why XCOM 2 feels so special. Oh, and also that UFO mission is a gem that I look forward to every playthrough. It's such a special one-off kind of fight where the stakes are raised and you really see what your entire team's potential could be. This mission doesn't always happen. Only once have I missed it, but when I did miss it, I missed it. And when it does take place, if I'm honest, it's a little bit easier than maybe it should be. But what a joy it is to face endless waves of enemies, knowing that failure here equals instant game over. Or in my case, save scumming. This game is not perfect, and that gives me joy, because if I get this much joy from an imperfect game, imagine how great a potential sequel could be should I ever bother playing it. In my heart, I do believe there must be a better solution than the seemingly cruel RNG mechanics this game has, but maybe it's that gambling mechanic that hooks me in so much. I don't know. Like I said, a save scum doesn't really matter. I've recently failed about 3 playthroughs in a row just because I was unable to unlock regions fast enough to reach enemy strongholds before the Avatar project was completed. And there's that horrible feeling when you know your playthrough is doomed, but it could still be several hours before you know for sure. The music in this game is excellent, as is to be expected from the guy who also did the stuff for the latest Deus Ex games. But I still prefer the tracks from the first XCOM. And despite the graphics being primitive, even for its time, its ragdolls are still entertaining, and it still somehow slows down my GeForce 5090 when there's a lot of destruction going on. Sometimes the game can feel a bit cumbersome, with all the slow-paced animations you have to endure and all the pauses between actions. Sometimes the combat freezes for no apparent reason for 10 or so seconds as the game threatens to drop a new enemy squad on my ammo-spent team, but then doesn't. A failed hack spawning enemy reinforcements is often what gets me to save scum, or to finally rage quit a multi-hour-long session and to resume my chores, because hacking in this game just doesn't feel fair. None of this game's fair, but especially the hacking. And as somebody who has never cared about the story in games, even for me, the one scene in XCOM 2 feels a little bit childish and simplistic, naive even. The pandemic saw to it that the concept that everybody would rush for bioenhancement seems laughable. The idea that displaying the cruel acts of the oppressors on TV screens would be enough to convince them to rebel, just so idealised. But maybe it's all those silly little things that makes this title such a friendly and welcome respite from an otherwise weary world. So thank you, XCOM 2, for not even 200 hours of enjoyment yet. I could have sworn it would have been more than that, given how long and fulfilling each playthrough of it feels. I know what you'll say. You'll be like, if you like XCOM 2, then you should try X, Y, or Z instead, or to give the expansion another go, or whatever. Maybe someday. But just like somebody madly in love, I don't care for the critiques or insults hurled my way for being the basic game, filthy save scummer that I am. I get too much joy from this game to care. I made this video so that I could finally delete my massive folder of saved footage from all the countless epic battles I've had in this game, to finally be able to move on and to start something new. But maybe just one more playthrough first. Oh, and check out my Nigel Books video, for he is the master of double entry. Seriously, it's like one of the best videos I've ever made. Much better than this review. Check it out.